action.
All right, so now that I showed you the fundamental basis of all of boxing which is the transitioning of your weight from one leg to the other, and how I'm going to show you guys like a couple ways to practice that, and we're going to do some demos in the next video about practical application of that stuff and how it's going to apply to everything that you do in boxing. So first off, getting into your boxing stance, like we're boxing each other, right? Feet roughly shoulder width apart. You know, your hands don't really matter for this much, or for this part of the exercise, but ways to kind of practice this when you're by yourself are just really exaggerated movements where you transition your weight, you know, from basically neutral position, right, to completely on one leg, right? And the way that you're going to do that is, well, I'll have my lovely assistant show you first. Go ahead. And you go all the way down, and then you go up, and you go all the way back. And that's how you're going to practice your transitions of your weight. And if you see, this is basically how you're going to get all the power into a left hook for this one, and then the other one's like a right hand. It's the same for slipping punches, and you use these kind of movements for like rolling punches as well. And it's all about hip transitioning your weight on your hips. And I'll show you a little bit after this where to go from that stuff. So, like I said, just here, down, and like I said, it's all of your boxing comes from the ability to do this with speed or power, and the better you get at it, the better all of your boxing fundamentals are going to be, right? Another way to do this, if you have a partner, someone you can work with, my coach used to teach me these things called counter punch drills, and he taught us to always do them with our mouthpiece, but we're not going to be doing them with a mouthpiece. She's not going to hit me, hopefully. But we're going to be basically throwing punches at each other in a specific pattern to get used to it. And this does two things. Not only helps you work on these the weight transfers for your hips, but it also lets you kind of get used to seeing these punches come at you, and also throwing these punches at another person. You can kind of get a feel for it and how they're going to slip, how they're going to punch, how they're going to, you know, and it's like, there's no substitute for sparring, right? But it's, you know, the next best thing, kind of. So anyway, just another way to practice transferring your weight. So we're going to do a jab, a 2, and a 3. And we're going to be focusing not on speed and power and punching our opponent, but just transferring our weight so that we can do these moves effectively when we need to. So she's going to start with a jab. I'm going to catch it, go right hand, and notice, whoops, do it again.
Yeah.
One punch at a time. Okay. So that jab, 2. So we are mirroring each other in this respect. All our weight's on the front leg. Even though I didn't throw a punch, the movement that we're making for her punch and my slip is exactly the same. It is going to differ a little bit when I roll her hook, as I'm going to transfer my weight like this, and she's only going to be pulling her weight back. But it is very important to be able to transition your weight from these areas. And notice it's also nearly exactly the same motion that you were making when you're just doing this stuff, right? So slip, rolling, and just transferring your weight from one foot to the other. So go ahead again. So jab, 2, 3. And now I'm going to throw punches at her. Be careful, he's a heater. So jab, you're going to catch it.
Okay.
2, 3. Jab, 2, 3. And don't turn so much on the catch, right? Just like a little bit, you know.
Okay.
So jab, bring back, jab, 2, 3. Good. And notice how her hips are moving weight, or she's transferring her weight from her hips, and it's the same exact motion as when she punches. It's going to be the basis for nearly everything that you do in the boxing ring. Yeah,